Did you know that, although now forgotten by the general public, Dennis Wheatley was once one of the most popular writers of the 20th century? And although he's been out of fashion for decades, each of his books are a minefield of psychological insight and social comment. And so here is every single one of Dennis Wheatley books, both non-fiction and fiction alike, and what you can pluck from them psychologically. So, let's get into it. The first story is about a haunted pub that drives its new owner insane. This is a dual narrative novel alternating between two storylines, each narrated by a different character. As the story unfolds, it becomes clear that Roger's death was no accident, and that there are dark secrets lurking beneath the surface of this seemingly idyllic community. This novel tells the story of Richard Fielding, a former soldier who returns home from the war only to find himself accused of murdering his wife. As Richard tries to clear his name, he finds himself entangled in a web of deceit and murder, uncovering a conspiracy that reaches the highest levels of society. In terms of psychology, the novel explores themes of guilt, paranoia, and the unreliability of memory. It is set in a world where the main character lives a peaceful life with his family until he is contacted by a mysterious organization known as Ultra. They recruit him for a top-secret mission that involves time travel and preventing a global catastrophe. In terms of psychology, the novel explores themes of identity, memory, and the nature of reality. The protagonist is forced to confront the limits of human understanding and the subjective nature of truth. Wheatley also touches on the psychology of trauma and the ways in which the past can continue to haunt us in the present. Overall, Ultra is a mind-bending and thought-provoking novel that challenges readers to question the nature of reality itself. Wheatley creates a sense of claustrophobia and paranoia as the reader is drawn into Richard's increasingly fragmented psyche. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. Let me know what you think of Dennis Wheatley and his books down below. Thank you for watching, and until next time, happy reading. The novel also touches on the psychology of the criminal mind, as Richard is forced to confront the darkest aspects of human nature in order to survive. Overall, The Satan Cellar is a gripping psychological thriller that will keep you on the edge of your seat. The novel explores themes of jealousy, revenge, and the destructive nature of obsession, set in the infamous Belsen concentration camp. The novel follows a group of Allied spies as they attempt to gather intelligence on the camp's operations while evading the ever-present threat of capture. In terms of psychology, the novel explores the psychological effects of war and occupation, as well as the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable horrors. Wheatley does not shy away from depicting the brutality and dehumanization of the victims, as well as the sadistic nature of the guards and officers responsible for their suffering. Overall, The Spies of Belsen is a powerful and disturbing novel that serves as a reminder of the darkest chapters of human history. Through his characters, Wheatley paints a vivid picture of human psychology, exposing the darkness that can lurk in the seemingly ordinary. The story follows a group of rebels who are fighting against the oppressive regime. In terms of psychology, the novel explores themes of conformity, obedience, and the psychology of totalitarianism. The characters in the novel are all caught up in a struggle to maintain their individual identities, while living under a regime that demands complete obedience and conformity. Wheatley also explores the psychology of fear and how it can be used as a tool of social control. Overall, Strange Conflict is an unsettling novel that offers a chilling commentary on the dangers of unchecked power. The novel also touches on the psychology of perception, as the reader is often left questioning the reliability of the characters' perspectives. Overall, Dead Man's Folly is a gripping and thought-provoking mystery that will keep you guessing until the very end. The first storyline follows a young woman named Helen, who becomes the victim of a brutal attack by a stranger. The second storyline follows the attacker, a man named John, as he prepares for the attack. In terms of psychology, the novel delves into the minds of both the victim and the perpetrator, exploring the psychological factors that contribute to such a heinous crime. Wheatley does not shy away from depicting the brutality and psychological trauma of the attack, but he also explores the emotional and psychological toll it takes on the victim and those around her. Overall, The Strength of the Wolf and the Weakness of the Goat is a powerful and disturbing novel that raises important questions about the nature of good and evil. The second story is about a ghost train that runs through the English countryside at night, killing anyone who gets in its way. And the third story is about a house that is possessed by a demonic force that preys on the fears of its inhabitants. In terms of psychology, these stories explore the power of suggestion and the role of the unconscious mind in shaping our experiences. Wheatley also taps into our primal fears of the unknown and the forces of darkness that may be lurking just beyond our perception. Overall, The Haunting of Toby Jug is a terrifying read that will stay with you long after you finish it. First up, we have Mr. with a Suitcase. This was Wheatley's debut novel, and it set the tone for many of his later books with its fast pace, sex, violence, and dark humor. In this book, an unhappily married man takes his own life. But before doing so, he writes a letter to his wife, and then sends her a suitcase with a combination lock on it containing clues as to where he has hidden his wealth. The story follows the wife and the private detective she hires to track down her husband's body and the clues to his hidden cash. In terms of psychology, there are some interesting points to consider in this novel, such as the psychology of suicide, the psychology of deception, and the psychology of power and control. Furthermore, the characters in this story display a number of psychological defense mechanisms. For example, the protagonist uses disassociation as a way to cope with the trauma of her husband's death, and the antagonist uses rationalization as a way to justify his actions. Additionally, the novel explores the psychology of the criminal mind and the motivations behind criminal behavior. The story also touches on the psychology of wealth and how it affects people's behavior. Overall, Mr. with a Suitcase is a well-written psychological thriller that provides a fascinating look into the minds of its characters. Next up is Black Chasm. This was Wheatley's second novel, and it marked a departure from the more light-hearted style of his earlier work. It is a dark and suspenseful story about a group of friends who go on a camping trip that goes horribly wrong. After drinking a strange brew found at a roadside cafe, the group starts hallucinating and killing each other off one by one. In terms of psychology, the novel explores the effects of alcohol and drugs on the human mind and the dark side of human nature. The characters are all flawed individuals with their own psychological problems. Story shows how these problems can be exacerbated by substance abuse. There is also an element of cosmic horror in the novel, which is reflected in the protagonist's sense of dread and helplessness in the face of the unknown. Overall, Black Chasm is a disturbing and thought-provoking novel that challenges readers to confront the darker aspects of human nature. Next up we have The Haunting of Toby Jug. So this novel is actually a collection of 3 stories, each more frightening than the last. Next up we have The Strength of the Wolf and the Weakness of the Goat. Next up we have Dead Man's Folly. Set in the fictional village of Babak, this novel revolves around the mysterious death of a local resident, Roger Gatherer. Next up we have The Satan's Cellar. Next up we have The Spies of Belsen. This novel is a harrowing account of the atrocities committed by the Nazis during World War II. Next up, we have Strange Conflict. This is a science fiction novel that takes place in a dystopian future, where humanity is divided into two warring factions. And finally, we have Ultra. This is another science fiction novel that was published towards the end of Wheatley's career. So, there you have it. A rundown of all of Dennis Wheatley's books and what you can pluck from them psychologically.